Free energy now.
Imagine a world in which each home has its own power generator that obtains its energy in such a way that no fuel has to be added. Imagine every vehicle being able to run without ever stopping for fuel. Imagine each appliance having its own power source that never has to be recharged. That is the world of the future. Join with us now as we track our progress towards such a world.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Sterling Allan. You can join us online at freeenergynow.net, where you can find a list of past guests and download those interviews and read the stories associated with those interviews. We're joined today, November 23rd, 2013, by Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. Mr. Keshe is working on developing a set of technologies that would enable a space mission, including energy, propulsion, food, water, and healing, all using similar principles of plasma technology he invented. We have a feature page about them at pezwiki.com. Just Google Pezwiki and Keshe, spelled K-E-S-H-E. Mr. Keshe, welcome to the show.
Good morning to you.
And good afternoon to you.
Oh, yes, it's about 4 o'clock here.
Oh, we're at 8 a.m. here.
No problem. Tell me what we can do.
Well, you have a lot going on. You have an announcement coming up in December. Just wondering what you might be able to tell us about that.
Which I do in December.
Okay, yeah.
It's in December because we had a program regarding the energy unit, which a large number of people have been interested in. So now we are announcing what is the position, because we were going to show the nuclear, and then we could not show the nuclear. All our nuclear material was confiscated by the authorities in Belgium. So we endeavored to repeat and create a condition in the non-nuclear. The system at the moment is set and is running for tests. So in December we announced the results of the test and the configuration. It's taken us months and months of modifying to try to achieve a non-nuclear chain of events as we could do with the nuclear. We showed weight reduction, which some people said, oh, it was to do with the scale, but we were there with scientists. There was no scale problem. And now we went for the energy, and the system had to be reset because it was falling out and all sorts of problems with prototyping. Now the prototype has been totally designed on its operation side and internally, and now we started testing non-nuclear reactors in a very positive way.
Is this going to be like a 5 kilowatt system?
This can produce any kilowatt. There is no limit into the production because there is no fuel limitation. The limitation is on the magnetic field strength which you produce.
The one that's going to be demonstrated, can you tell us the output, the one that's being tested?
We are looking around about 3 to 10 kilowatts. We can't say anything because it's at the moment. Every time we went into a position of full test, something went wrong. So we are still testing. And we will explain the discussion and discuss the results on the 19th of the 12th, as we promised.
Okay. You said December 12th?
Yeah, the 19th of December.
Oh, 19th. Okay, and where's that going to be announced?
As usual, normal on our forum.
Okay.
We announce everything through our forum, as you know.
Coming up in February 19th through 23rd, there's an Evolve Expo in Denver, Colorado, that we're involved in having a contest they're going to have two things. They're going to have a house that to be powered by one of these free energy devices, and they're going to have a car to either be powered by an onboard energy device or some kind of fuel efficiency improving technology or some kind of breakthrough motor technology that uses much less energy. Wondering if your group would be ready with something in time to compete in that contest.
First of all, we cannot come to the United States, as you know, so that contest does not apply to us.
Okay.
I officially received a second reminder from American Embassy 3 days ago that my entry to the United States has not been accepted, even though it was by invitation of your friend in NASA.
And with the, is there somebody else from your group that could represent the Keshe Foundation?
No, we don't do these things, no.
Okay.
As you know, yes, yeah, no, there won't be. We don't see what if we have to do a demonstration, we do it in Europe. And we have, what do you call it? We have enough scientists clever enough in Europe to ascertain and then, what do you call it, to assess the technology and its merits.
Sure. My understanding is that you've relocated from your facility in Belgium. What's the present status of your headquarters?
We had to leave Belgium because of the pressures from the government, and now we are at the moment in Italy, based in Italy, till we see how and where and then how the situation develops. At the moment there is a lot of problem. Belgian government and Belgian authorities or people within the Belgian structure of government are trying to do everything to discredit the Keshe Foundation. They have stolen all our emails from our reserve, or what they call it, servers, and are siphoning it to see what they can come out with to discredit the foundation. We know who they are, we are monitoring them, and we have, they are at the moment, in a way, they've stolen all the email communication of past 10 years of the foundation. Not from us, but from the server of a major what do you call it, internet company who's been holding it for us.
The ISP?
Yes, everything has been downloaded. They're working very heavy to see what they can download to discredit. We have informed what do you call it, the server holder, and they are aware what's happening. There was a full attack on the server last week or 10 days ago, whatever. And a bunch of American government secrets have gone as well because they were on the same server. And a lot of people's knowledge, information, and emails have been stolen. And you hear about it soon. They'll come up with something. They try to steal our domain. Our domain was safeguarded. So they went to see what it is. They went for the emails to see what they can work there about. They stole all the emails, and it will come up somehow to discredit the Keshe Foundation. And this is, at least you know, is registered, that we know what's going to happen.
You were doing this USB drive with the counter-gravity or gravity modification technology to a bunch of different governments. How's that going? Are there some governments making some progress in replicating that, building that technology?
We do not communicate with the government. We gave it to them. It's for them to do the work. We don't ask. We don't get involved. They were given as a gift, so if they developing it, we know some governments have already, what do you call it, has passed the key and the technology and a patent to their research establishments, and are working on it. And we know there are a lot of research are going around on the same basis of the technology. As you know, the key we gave to the American government within a few weeks arrived in NASA. So NASA boys are working on it. decision from the Washington was that the visa would not be issued to Iranian nuclear physicists. And we received this final version of the declining of the NASA request in past 7 days in writing.
Uh-huh. How's the clinic going with visiting or having patients?
We don't work that way. We stopped a lot of research in the past few months with relocation, but we picked up a few research criterion which we were interested in, which covers most aspects of most of illnesses, or what are called defects in the human body. And one of them was ILS, which we posted a video very recently on YouTube. It's been seen in the past month by something like 6,000-7,000 times. It's to do with being able to stop and in some cases reverse the disease of ILS, because ILS up to now is a death disease. Once they tell you have ILS, it's a death sentence. Now we have managed, and we put a testimonial on the internet.
I'm having a hard time understanding the disease name that you're giving. Could you spell that?
It's ALS or ILS.
Okay.
This is the disease which, in a way, leads to death. There is no cure for it anywhere in the world at this moment of time, and it's called a death sentence. And what do you call it? Sorry about that. And this disease, at the moment, we think we have found a solution for one of these versions. Not all, it's got different types, and it is. It's never been done. We just posted an update 2-3 days ago on our YouTube that since the video was shown, because the gentleman couldn't lift anything, that is still reversing. The gentleman can now lift the, what do you call it, couple of oranges, which is a huge improvement. He couldn't even lift a pen about 2 months ago. And the situation with him is that now he can move his arms or lift his arms. And he can clothe himself after a long time with this disease, which he couldn't do anything. So what do you call it? The situation with him is reversing totally.
Now, if I understand right, the technology behind the health remedies is based in the same principles that are used in your propulsion technology, energy generation technology, water and food creation technology. Do I understand that correctly? Is that your claim?
You're 100% correct.
Okay.
It's how to use it, for what purpose you want to use it.
Now, the last 2 years, it was around December 6th or 9th, I can't remember the exact date, the Iranian government intercepted a U.S. drone exactly a year to the date later last year. We're coming up less than a month from now on that anniversary. Do you think something like that's going to happen again?
The date of anniversary is 3rd of December, when we announced that such a thing will happen. The plane, the craft was captured the following day after we announced in Belgium that the power of the technology will be shown. At this moment of time, as you know, the situation, we started the peace talks between America and the Keshe Foundation last year, where we handed the key to the American Council in Brussels on their request. And as you know, I put the hand of peace across the table. I said, this is the hand of peace from Iran. And in response to that, I received a personal private letter from His Excellency President Obama. And the line of communication has been, as you know today, already now this minute while we are talking, all the American and Chinese and Russian and all the European, what's called 5+1, are in Geneva at this minute negotiating the peace between Iran nuclear program and the rest. And before the anything started, I announced clearly that Iran will come with a transparent hand, total transparency, with accountability, and these talks will succeed. And we saw Iran attending with a full transparency, and we see that we are heading for a very groundbreaking peace talks in Geneva as we talk now. We started the process, and thanks to wisdom of the nations, it is carried on and is still going on. And I think we will achieve a sound and a very secure peace unless something totally goes wrong deliberately. And I see what we started as a peace talk and peace conference with Keshe Foundation is paying its dividends, and today is one of the examples of it.
Now, I was not aware that you had made an announcement on your website prior to last year's interception by the Iranian government of a second U.S. drone a year later from the first one. Can I find that, or maybe you can send me a link to that post?
We announced it on the Saturday, the 3rd of December, in a public meeting in Belgium with about 130, 150 people attending the conference, where we showed for the first time gravitational system reactors in public. There were people, there were 150 people from more or less about 5 or 10 different countries present. It was a full auditorium, and this happened after our systems were confiscated the Friday before, on the 25th of November. And for the anniversary on the 3rd of December, where we had the presentation in Belgium, where we announced it, again on the 3rd of December, on this anniversary, a second flight was captured. And I don't think it's going to be another capture. I hope not, but if it is, it still will show advancement in the technology.
Now, for what it's worth, I would just note that you said November 25th was the date of this conference last year, or was the date of the confiscation?
No, November the 25th is a Friday when they came and they locked all our nuclear materials by the Belgian authorities. On the 26th, we were showing the system in Holland in a conference organized by Elector magazine. We were going to show it on the 26th on the Saturday. It's on the internet, you can see it. And the day before, they confiscated our materials. And the following Saturday, when we didn't need to go out of the borders of Belgium, we showed the space reactors in public to people, and this is well documented by people who've been there. And that day has become the day of the capture of the American drones, the following day on the 4th and on the 3rd, which was the day announced.
And in that demonstration, did you show a levitation effect?
No, we showed the reactors which were supposed to be shown in Holland because we had to cross borders. If we would have crossed borders with nuclear material, it would have been criminal offense or whatever. Mm-hmm. But with them confiscating, we showed them what we were going to show in Holland. Now we're developing a non-nuclear. I saw you putting a comment on your program that this was a problem with the scale, and we had a professor, 2 engineers, and a very well-known blogger present when that test was running. So there was no fiddle, there was nothing, nobody pushing anything up and down. And you can hear even the professor in the back. He even tested it himself. That is not a change in the scale. We were carrying it live, and that video was literally for us. We have thousands of hours of videos like this in our archive. So we decided to show that it can be done, weight can be reduced. We have seen more processes since that time. And we release videos, as you've seen even with our LS video. These are archives. We don't bring cameraman now. We're doing action, stop, go. we take video as the event takes place.
Mm-hmm.
So that 2.5 kilo reduction was literally our archive videos, and we thought we can show that non-nuclear materials can create effects the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw your comments going that the scale was this and that. There were 6 people, a nuclear physicist, a scientist, a physicist was present. There were 2 engineers present. We had, it was me, it was another electronic engineer there, and the video taken is not by me. You see them on the scale. I was trying to work with it, and we carried on with the same test. And it was taken by a very well-known international blogger. It's him who's taking the video. So in due course, he will announce who he is because he took the videos. And then subsequently, we did tests the following weeks and weeks after it, where we start increasing the weight of the system for submergence. And the data is recorded and the video is fully recorded in that process. So we gone both ways. But once we achieve a sustainable perpetual rotation, then you can create any amount of energy out of the system, 10 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt. That becomes irrelevant because you just create a magnetic field, and it depends how much you want to pick out of the field. This is the beauty with this technology, and we will show in different ways very soon how and the possibilities of the technology. The same as let me explain to you something, Allan. One of the things we deliberately posted the ILS video was to take the attention away from that this technology is not just about energy or about the lift. It has other aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next 72 hours or so, you will see an international reaction to the announcement of the ILS. There is something happening very important in a small way for the people who suffer with ILS.
Mm-hmm.
And this will come into public within the next 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Is there any development in the sector of, are you producing additional plans or schematics for the, what was going to be a 5 kilowatt system? Is that still going to be, you're going to be announcing your development on that on the 19th of December.
Yes.
Is it going to be in the ballpark of what they were originally going to get, which they paid for a 5 kilowatt generator?
Nobody has paid for it. There are only less than now 100 people left who put a deposit of €500 per system. Nobody has ever paid for a full system. They put a trust. They put a €500 trust deposit.
Mm-hmm.
And if we cannot deliver, we'll return the deposit after December the 19th. If we deliver, we ask them to deposit the balance for picking up the system. We have set up, or we have the manufacturing site in position. We have everything in hand to deliver once we are completely secure that it is correct and can be done. There's no use sending a system out which can last for 3 months or 2 years or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be correct. It has to perform what is according supposed to do. We were supposed to show the system this coming Thursday on one of the workshops of the Keshe Foundation, which we have postponed it to the 19th because, as you know, once a month on Thursday morning, 6 o'clock Central European time, we run a workshop. We've done 6 of them now. We are the 7th one this month, this Thursday. It was organized to be shown the reactor this week, but for security reasons we have withheld it. and we will show whatever is there. We don't have anything to hide. The most important thing at the moment with the foundation is the announcement which we made this week. As you know, 2 weeks ago, we had a press conference in Italy with the council responsible for universities and education in District of Lombardy was present, ex-member of the parliament was present, and in this press conference we announced the start of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, which means from the March of next year we will accept scientists from around the world to develop every aspect of this technology within the institute. And in the past 72 hours, we announced we are taking earlier on, from the 14th of January, scientists from around the world. These are not to do with companies. These are individuals who want to and can help us develop the technology before the multinationals come into in March. So we have started the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And from January the 14th, I teach directly to scientists who come to us, stay in the institute, how to build every aspect of technology and systems of the plasma. So it is not going to be a hidden world anymore, and from January on, one of the agreements we have with these scientists who will come to join us is that they have to revert back to their countries and to their nations every week and teach their scientists at the same time. So let's say we have 25 to 30 scientists here in Italy with us, learning everything. They in turn teach back in their own language back to their own nation. So our teaching program within the next 45 days starts in a very heavy way, and you don't need the Keshe Foundation to build up a generator. You build the generators according to what we teach individuals. But the problem, as usual, is individuals cannot build these reactors on their own in the countries. Then we bring the multinationals to be able to develop and sell and produce mass production. We have approached Microsoft in the past 7 days, and they want to stay. They refuse to collaborate on the health aspects of the technology. So we have approached a couple of pharmaceuticals that are looking at it. We have a couple of governments which will send their representative. We have universities who will send scientists for the March session. And in a way, the mass teaching of the technology has already gone on the way and it started. We have the premises to start the teaching of the first group, and by March we'll have the capacity to accommodate initially 250 scientists and then up to 1,000 scientists per year. That the scientists will go. You can go on spaceship.com at Keshe Foundation and look at the portfolio of what we are doing and what the Spaceship Institute is going to do. It's called spaceshipinstitute.org. You can read all the criteria of what it's going to be. You can apply for a place. You send a CV, an application. You want to be part of this teaching organization or being a knowledge seeker. We don't call them student. And we'll look at it, and you are invited. Then on the 14th of January, you should start attending and learning. And we teach in a very open way. This is not a classroom situation. It's around the table, everybody learning from each other. So the teacher become a student, the student become a teacher. As we are taking in people with the degrees and with expertise. In the past, we announced this one about 2 days ago, and we already accepted 2 individuals to be part of this first group. And I'm sure by mid-December, we'll achieve about 25 to 50 people who will start in January. These can be, one of them is from Middle East, and one is from North America, the two people who we accepted, and we know surely very soon other people will join us. So it's not a secret anymore how we do things. From now on, everybody learns everything what we do. There is no more stopping the technology spreading. So the ones who want to stick to their titles, they can stick, and the ones who want to bring a new generation of knowledge back on the table, they can join us and we'll do it directly. So,
and
Mr. Stel, you can be one of our students if you're qualified.
what is the, are there, yeah, let's talk about the qualifications. What are they?
We need scientists, we need doctors, professors, people with a long-term experience in certain things, youngsters with a new look into the development side. We are not looking for, I'm a professor, as it's on the, as I explained in the press conference, all the titles get hung on the door entrance gate of the institute, not even coming to the institute. We're all the same, but we have scientists with years of experience in different aspects, disciplines, doctors. We have a doctor from the United States who's applied. I was looking at his application yesterday. We have scientists from, what do you call it, space organizations who individually are prepared to leave their jobs to join the institute. And there is no qualification. It depends what your expertise brings on the table. We'll look at it, especially for the first group, and we'll see where we go.
So they go to spaceshipinstitute.org to sign up for that.
Yes, all they do, they send an email. We have, because there's been heavy attacks on our server in the past few weeks, to protect ourselves from these kind of attacks, that if they bring our server down again, we have open spaceshipinstitute@gmail.com too. So if you send an email, to both the Space Institute SSI, it's called SSI, Sugar India, SSI, at cashfoundation.com, or you send to spaceshipinstitute@gmail.com, and we'll respond to you.
I got spaceshipinstitute@gmail.org or gmail.com, and then it's SSI@cashfoundation.com.
Yeah. So if there is anything, we are moving a lot of our activities away from our server if there is an attack onto YouTube and what they call it, Facebook. That people cannot be dictated by a few people who want to block us. As I told you, they've stolen our system, all our emails, some 30,000 emails, and they're sorting out by how they're going to attack us. So we have moved into Gmail and YouTube, and we will use these medias much more, even for our teaching. So we try not to allow things which happen to people like Tesla and other scientists to be blocked. We're using the mass media for teaching. And if you go on the Keshe Foundation forum, you see we put most of these things on our forum. Even we announced about the cancer research. We open our cancer research again. We announced it. We have announced our ILS. I teach directly on the forum now. I do a lot of teaching before even the institute starts. The scientists who understand or ask the right question in a way which you can answer, we answer it.
Okay. Would it be appropriate to ask a question about the licensing of the energy generation technology, or is that premature?
Why do I have to license it? Why should we license it? We are giving it to you to do it yourself if you want to. The only agreement we have, if you go on the last pages of the Keshe Foundation, the Spaceship Institute.org, you will come to see, it says, the only agreement, usually companies like us, or when you give such advanced technology to anyone, you have to sign a lot of documents that this is what you're going to do, and that's what you're going to do. In the Keshe Foundation, we have put only one condition. The condition is a very, very, what do you call it, straightforward. Just put in the what do you call it, the go on the Spaceship, www.spaceship.org. We have explained that our only condition is that you use our technology for peaceful purposes, and you use our technology for advancement of humanity, and you never use it for aggression. And there is no need for licensing, and part of the document you sign is that you will never patent whatever we teach you, or you never patent what you learn through our technology, which means you give your technology to humanity direct. And this is the only condition. I don't see any need for licensing. Nobody licenses a thermoflask. Everybody produces plates. People produce, nobody patents a plate or a flask or a spoon. Why should you license a technology which is necessary for everyday use by every human being? If you can produce it, you produce it. There are thousands of companies which are producing spoons. Why should I give them a license to produce a spoon? We teach you, you do it the way you see. Somebody might use a green reactor, somebody might use a liter reactor. At the end of it is serving humanity. This licensing is totally become nonsense for us. We spoke about it, trying to stop the attack on us, but in a way it did not work. So what's the use of doing it? That's why everybody gets taught in the university, in the institute, to stop all this game of licensing.
Is there a fee for the course?
20,000 euro, yes. Because we have to buy material for these people. When you make a what do you call it, a reactor, the last prototype reactor cost nearly 30,000 euro. Foundation, they pay for the use of making materials and the things they do. We have a lot of facilities available which has been bought by the foundation over years, but the fee they pay is literally for the materials which is needed in the university and running of the university or the institute.
And so they will be physically making, each one of the learners will be making a device. Will they be able to take that home with them?
They don't need to take it home. They take the knowledge and they teach. These people will stay with us or stay with their companies. I mean, if you can put a spaceship in the back of a plane to take home, of course, you're welcome. The program is that every individual will learn everything about the technology. You don't become just come in because you're an electric engineer or you're a PhD in, let's say, materials. The day one, they are all taught everything at the same time. Because in a space, you should be able to function, to be multifunctional. In a way, if you run out of energy, you should know how to create energy because there's nothing to go back to. If you run out of food, you should know how to feed yourself. Everybody else is dead or you're on your own in a place. So everything is taught. And then in the second year, they become specialized in their own, what do you call it, fields of specialty. So by the end of the first year, they should all be able to build an energy reactor. They all should be able to make medical systems for themselves. They should be able to produce food from the energy in the space the way we do. So they'll all be taught, and at the same time, this is what we put in there is if you go on the Keshe Foundation Space Institute.org, they have on a weekly basis have to teach other scientists back in their own nation, which means they don't stay here and in 10 years' time if they feel like to teaching somebody. They have to teach immediately. Within the first year, we will reach millions through this process. If I have given my knowledge and my technology freely to you, there is no way that you have to stop teaching the others because the value is to serve. And I'm sure we've seen none of the spoon companies and plate companies gone bankrupt in past hundreds of years. There's more of them because there's more of us. It'll be the same thing. They'll come with their own versions of it themselves.
Mm-hmm. So the 20,000 euro fee is for a 1-year course?
It's a 1 year. It's actually for 3 years, the course, we think. But for the first 2 years, after the first semester, they start physically making things. If somebody thinks he's learned enough in 12 months and he wants to go back, they're quite welcome. If their companies or the governments think they've learned enough in 12 months, they can go back, they can go back. But we don't think 2 years. 2 years will be sufficient. And by the third year, a full space, vehicles with a full operation should be built by the volunteers or by the students or by the knowledge seekers that they can test it. Or at least by then we should have a communal system that everybody can, as a human race, to be able to test. This way, the reason being this way, no nation can block no nation. Because we reckon that each year we'll have from 30 to 40, 50 countries participating and teaching back in their own country. So this is a collective human race endeavor. It's not NASA, it's not Russian Space Agency, it's not the Chinese. And if we find scientists who cannot afford paying for the course, we will raise funds to different ways for them to be available if we see them fitting to be in the institute. And we have one case already risen on this that the foundation will decide in the next few days. We'll go public to our, our
audience?
Mailing list, on the audience, on our mailing list. Or if you can appoint, you can increase or raise funds for these scientists and appoint scientists, which the Americans think is good to be here. Each nation is allowed up to 10 scientists maximum, no more. Then we don't have all one nation. If you in your PISWiki can go out and say you want to raise 20,000 to send 1 man or 2 or 3 people to be in the institute to learn everything about the technology from United States and China and South America, I support you. We give you all the support. So in January you have 3 Americans or Chinese which you raise funds for, will come here and they learn. And I teach first, and it's not somebody, there will be somebody here. Everything, all the sessions at least for the first semester will be me personally and them personally. And it's no blackboards and there is no, sitting and listening.
PowerPoints?
It's round the table. You've been to my lecture room in Brussels, in Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the quiz, yeah? There is no blackboard. And in the meetings, we always turn the chairs into a circle. There is no boss. We're all a student, we learn from each other. This is the way to succeed because most of these people who come are high-level scientists. They're not there as a student to sit there and just to take notes. We are there to understand and develop. So if through your program, through your links or to your connections, you can raise whatever for 3 scientists or 10 scientists from all over the world to be in the foundation on the 14th of January, they will be here. but we are getting requests. Our limit for January 25th is between 25 to 50 people. We cannot accommodate any more than that. We have already trying to organize accommodation for these people. If they come or their families wants to come, we're trying to find accommodation in schools for the children that we can support. Fortunately, where we are, there is a huge amount of accommodation available, especially when we start in the winter. So the grounds are ready, the facilities, the labs are getting set up, the rooms for lectures are already getting set up for the 14th of January. There is no way to stop unless they kill me, which is a very high possibility. This knowledge will be shared by human race by next time we speak, this time next year. Because you, the people you raised funds for to be here, they will teach your nation in thousands. We allow YouTube, we allow every ways of communication for people to understand.
That sounds exciting. I appreciate you sharing all that. Is there, are there any other developments, as if that's not enough, that you want to report?
I'm sitting here and watching the peace talks in Geneva.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see if we can have 3 Iranian physicists, nuclear physicists, and 3 American nuclear physicists and scientists in the same room, we will achieve our goal.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can put scientists here that you have the contacts, and I know you have enough contacts to put out requests for scientists around the world, and put us people to, if they cannot pay, that they can raise the funds to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take, we take enough as we need for our living. We don't take any more. But we had to make a move to have the accommodation to be able to accommodate 50 scientists to teach. The lecture room is already available. The lab is already set. The initial lab is already set. So only thing we need is our knowledge seekers to turn up, that we can expand the facilities more, and we can develop the technology further in conjunction with them. So you go out and put a notice out that there are up to 25 to 50 scientists around the world can come and ask the companies who talk about peace and clean air to sponsor one student a year, 20,000 euro, 50,000 euro. And then we have taken the technology out of the hand of the multinationals and governments this way too, till March. But governments will overlook the condition, the teaching, the program, and the governments will overlook, and the multinationals have to get involved to produce these systems. Not everybody can do it in the back garden. Old men can't do it, the young people can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when they know that the scientist is in the hand of people, it brings the stability and peace. So you are very active, Mr. Sterling. See what you can do. How many people can you send to us by January?
Just one little correction. People like to switch my first and last name. My first name's Sterling and last name's Allan.
Okay.
Not a problem. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. I'll put up a story about this, including this interview. And do you want me to pass the wording by you first, or do you not worried about that?
Well, my word is Keshe. Everybody uses Keshe for Keshe Foundation.
Okay.
So if you can go out that we are going public in teaching, and we will negotiate with the Italian authorities that different nationalities can come to be taught and go. European Americans and some other countries are free to come and go to stay for a year, or they need an extension visa. These are all in the hand to be done. These are the things we need to do. So,
what about translations, since some people may want to come but might?
every teachings at the moment is in English. On the other hand, most of the scientists speak communicate in English anyway.
Yeah.
And the ones who cannot do, we have to make accommodation organization, because I know Chinese have a problem. I looked at this very recently. So for the Chinese scientists, we have to make accommodation. For Spanish speaking, that's another problem. We have to organize accommodation for South America. We know Brazil is very active in this kind of research. Then it leaves us with the Russians and the other bits.
Right. Brazil is Portuguese, of course.
Yeah, but Argentina, you have Brazil and Mexico and Argentina. These are all speaking different languages. So we have to accommodate. Brazil is very active in this research advanced technology. What do you call it? The Chinese, I love to have as many Chinese on board as possible. I love their ethos, I love the way they work, I love the way they set their programs. So we'll see how and the way we go. You can advertise it very easily, I'll leave it to you.
Well, I'll be one of the people advertising it. I appreciate this time to have this interview with you. And I'll let you get back to your program watching the peace talks, and certainly our prayers go with a peaceful solution to the problem there. And we appreciate your sentiments of wanting to share this with humanity, and wish you the best in your endeavors.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the technology development has had some say in these peace talks. When I read the private letter which I received from His Excellency President Obama in July of this year, there was an indication how this conference, these peace talks will go and how they will stand, and they stand the correct way. And we've seen it, and I thank His Excellency President Obama for initiating and supporting this peace process, much as I support my President Rouhani, who's taken over Ahmadinejad as the ex-president, and I'm sure we will see a lot of good things coming from the leadership in Iran, and we will be soon. No flight zone does not exist. I've written very recently that the borders will carry to the hemisphere and not to the landmines anymore in the next couple of years.
All right, well, thank you for your time, and you have a great rest of your day.
Same to you. Thanks for your time.
You bet.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Free Energy Now, brought to you by PES, Pure Energy Systems. You may access past archives and upcoming show info at freeenergynow.net and join us for our daily news at freeenergynews.com. We invite you to see our directory of energy technologies at peswiki.com. That's peswiki.com. PES, the Pure Energy Systems Information Network.
Well, you have a lot going on. You have an announcement coming up in December. Just wondering what you might be able to tell us about that.
Which I do in December.
Okay, yeah.
It's in December because we had a program regarding the energy unit, which a large number of people have been interested in. So now we are announcing what is the position, because we were going to show the nuclear, and then we could not show the nuclear. All our nuclear material was confiscated by the authorities in Belgium. So we endeavor to repeat and create a condition in a non-nuclear. The system at the moment is set and is running for tests. So in December we announced the results of the test and the configuration. It's taken us months and months of modifying to try to achieve a non-nuclear chain of events as we could do with the nuclear. We showed weight reduction, which some people said, oh, it was to do with the scale, but we were there with scientists. There was no scale problem. And now we went for the energy, and the system had to be reset because it was falling out and all sorts of problems with prototyping.
Okay.
We announced everything through our forum, as you know.
Coming up in February 19th through 23rd, there's an Evolve Expo in Denver, Colorado, that we're involved in having a contest they're going to have two things. They're going to have a house that to be powered by one of these free energy devices, and they're going to have a car to either be powered by an onboard energy device or some kind of fuel efficiency improving technology or some kind of breakthrough motor technology that uses much less energy. Wondering if your group would be ready with something in time to compete in that contest.
First of all, we cannot come to the United States, as you know, so that contest does not apply to us.
Okay.
I officially received a second reminder from American Embassy 3 days ago that my entry to the United States has not been accepted, even though it was by invitation of your friend in NASA.
And with the, is there somebody else from your group that could represent the Keshe Foundation?
No, we don't do these things, no.
Okay.
Now the prototype has been totally designed on its operation side and internally, and now we started testing non-nuclear reactors in a very positive way.
Is this going to be like a 5 kilowatt system?
This can produce any kilowatt. There is no limit into the production because there is no fuel limitation. The limitation is on the magnetic field strength which you produce.
The one that's going to be demonstrated, can you tell us the output, the one that's being tested?
We are looking around about 3 to 10 kilowatts. We can't say anything because it's at the moment. Every time we went into a position of full test, something went wrong. So we are still testing. And we will explain the discussion and discuss the results on the 19th of the 12th, as we promised.
Okay. You said December 12th?
Yeah, the 19th of December.
Oh, 19th. Okay,
Yeah,
and where's that going to be announced?
As usual, normal on our forum. As you know, yes, yeah, no, there won't be. We don't see if we have to do a demonstration, we do it in Europe. And we have, what do you call it? We have enough scientists clever enough in Europe to ascertain and, to assess the technology and its merits.
Sure. My understanding is that you've relocated from your facility in Belgium. What's the present status of your headquarters?
We had to leave Belgium because of the pressures from the government. And now we are at the moment in Italy, based in Italy, till we see how and where and then how the situation develops. At the moment there is a lot of problem. Belgian government and Belgian authorities or people within the Belgian structure of government are trying to do everything to discredit the Keshe Foundation. They have stolen all our emails from our reserve, or what they call it, servers, and they're siphoning it to see what they can come out with to discredit the foundation. We know who they are. We are monitoring them, and we have. They are at the moment in a way.
Free energy now.
Imagine a world in which each home has its own power generator that obtains its energy in such a way that no fuel has to be added. Imagine every vehicle being able to run without ever stopping for fuel. Imagine each appliance having its own power source that never has to be recharged. That is the world of the future. Join with us now as we track our progress towards such a world.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Sterling Allan. You can join us online at freeenergynow.net, where you can find a list of past guests and download those interviews and read the stories associated with those interviews. We're joined today, November 23rd, 2013, by Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. Mr. Keshe is working on developing a set of technologies that would enable a space mission, including energy, propulsion, food, water, and healing, all using similar principles of plasma technology he invented. We have a feature page about them at pezwiki.com. Just Google Pezwiki and Keshe, spelled K-E-S-H-E. Mr. Keshe, welcome to the show.
Good morning to you.
And good afternoon to you.
Oh, yes, it's about 4 o'clock here.
Oh, we're at 8 a.m. here.
No problem. Tell me what we can do.